retarded are divided into classifications: the educable, the trainable, and the custodial. The educable with IQs from 50 to 70 can usually profit from academic training. They can, for example, learn to read and write. The trainable retard with IQs of 25 to 50 usually are not capable of learning much in the way of academic material, even in special schools. However, they can be taught most of the activities of daily living, including the care of personal toilet and hygiene. Learning to dress and undress themselves is something most mentally retarded can do, even the more difficult dressing activities such as tying a bow knot in a shoelace. They can usually be taught to button and unbutton a coat or a dress. It requires patience, of course, but patience is the key to all successful teaching, just as persistence and repetition of effort are the keys to successful learning. They can learn to feed themselves, and they can be taught to avoid the common hazards of normal daily living. The intelligence level of the custodian retard is so low that they cannot be taught even these fundamental life requirements. As a result, they must be attended to by others throughout their entire lifespans. Fortunately, only about 3 out of every 100 of all mentally retarded people are so classified, really a very small percentage. Thanks to medical science, more and more of the mentally retarded are enjoying normal lifespans. The mentally retarded can also be classified according to the etiology, or the underlying causes of the subnormal condition, described as primary and secondary retardation. Primary retardation has a hereditary origin. Defective genes and chromosomes bring about abnormal physical, organic, and glandular disturbances, which, in turn, may account for the defective intelligence. Sturgis is a good example of primary retardation. Research has shed much light on these mysteries, but we still have a great deal to learn. Secondary retardation is caused by external forces, such as accidents or disease. They can affect the person at any time after conception, even before birth. But regardless of the cause of the mental retardation, one fact remains clear. We can only assess the abilities or potential of the mentally retarded on an individual basis. Seemingly random motions and movements are fairly common among the custodial retarded, and they may take many forms. Sometimes there are motions which seem to have no meaning whatsoever, and may even cause unintentional self-inflicted injuries. Although these conditions are common, they are more apt to occur under conditions of stress, such as when detractors are present. Most of these cases are rarely seen outside of an institution, and such conditions are really quite rare. Actually, most mentally retarded people like Eric and Patrick look very much like the typical boy or girl next door, or any of the people you might pass on the street. The vast majority of the mentally retarded are intelligent enough that they can be taught a great many things. Take Eric, for example. With multiple aides, he has created his own distribution business where he stores his product at his warehouse, then ships it out to people. Another example would be Patrick. Patrick has taken a transformer and written a story about it. Obviously, their ability to learn varies according to their level of intelligence. Take Sturgis, for example. He may seem normal and at first glance talking to an audience. However, he just parrots things he hears or mumbles most of the time. Education for the mentally retarded goes far beyond the teaching of the 3 R's. Much of their formal schooling involves learning to do things normal people take for granted. Even simple problems such as learning to tell time require patient instruction. Regardless of how far a retarded person can go in school, there are still many simple tasks which must be learned in order to get along in society, even one's own family. Telling time is only one obvious example, but it goes further. Many retards must be taught to identify and use even the most common of household articles for those that are capable of such things as learning to read. It is important to encourage them to go on to learn as much as they are capable of, not only because it will help them to assume their eventual place in society, but also in terms of personal satisfaction, so reading may be slow and labored. But learning to read, even at very simple levels, can be a valuable experience and an enjoyable pastime. However, we must remember to set realistic standards that are not too high for the individual. And what applies to reading also applies to other academic efforts, But academic efforts are only part of the picture. It's equally important that the mentally retarded learn to get along pleasantly with other people. This may include learning the common courtesies, finding enjoyment in sharing, and in helping others. Sometimes the learning has its difficult moments when consideration for others seems less important than having one's own way. For those that have talent and who are interested, music lessons can be a great source of personal satisfaction. They help to produce a sense of rhythm and coordination. Such activities as dancing also develop rhythm and coordination. And while they are enjoying themselves, they are also developing pose and balance. But the education of the retarded person must go beyond this. For like anyone else, the retarded have spiritual and religious needs, and these too should be satisfied. Wholesome play activities are just as important to the mentally retarded as to anyone else. They help to develop healthy bodies, sound minds, and emotional adjustment. All mentally retarded find the same kind of fun in play acting. Even at home, opportunities should be provided for some form of healthy exercise through play activities. The vacation away from home with one's family or friends is something that any mentally retarded person enjoys. It's not so much the kind of activity, but rather the emotionally healthy social interaction of having fun together, which is important. The fact is, of course, most mentally retarded are cared for in their own homes, and in most cases, this is the most desirable environment for them. However, there are times when it may be wise, or even necessary, to provide the kind of care and training that only an institution can give. And of course, another important factor is the ability of the parents or parent to provide properly for the child. A good institution must have certain basic features and characteristics: attractive buildings and grounds, classroom facilities, plenty of nourishing food served in enjoyable surroundings, a well-trained staff, clean and well-supervised rooms, and there must be adequate hospital facilities for medical diagnosis and treatment. The good institution will have a variety of opportunities for vocational guidance, training, and job placement for those with vocational potential. Many mentally retarded people are capable of goal-directed activity. Take Patrick, for example. His goal is to get this pen working. After many attempts, Patrick succeeds in his goal. The fact is, however, that many mentally retarded are capable of goal-directed activity. They can do many kinds of jobs, which are often denied them, such as filling orders. We can clearly see Eric here in his warehouse filling such orders. Sometimes it is difficult or impossible to train a mentally retarded person for a specific job before employment, but his potential can be determined, and on-the-job training may solve the problem. It would be wrong to expect a mentally retarded person to become a master craftsman. The standards are too high, but even in the skilled trades, for example, the mentally retarded can be trained to become valuable assistants. It's often surprising how well they can learn to do some very complicated, responsible, and even somewhat hazardous jobs, but regardless of the job level, and regardless of what kind of general or specialized training has been given, the mentally retarded are no different to any of us in one respect. The most important single qualification for job success is socialization, the ability to work pleasantly and cooperatively with others who are the mentally retarded. They are people. They come in both sexes and in all sizes, shapes, creeds, and colors. Their numbers are vast, and wherever people live, there also live the mentally retarded.